You're watching Conquer TV with Ms Shally. Joining me today, he is a successful entrepreneur and he owns a successful record label and he rocks our TVs and the radio. DJ SBU, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I'm really blessed. I can't complain.
That's good. DJ SBU, tell us, when did you start having so much interest in being a DJ?
I think just like a lot of other people from my youth, you know, from when I was a teenager, when I was young, I was always next to the DJ at little parties in the townships, at weddings. I'd always be next to the DJ. I used to collect, at the time, the cassettes were famous. You know, there were no CDs. So I used to have all these cassettes. I used to record radio shows when they'd play the top 20 or the top 40, I'd be recording. And when they play the jingles, I'd press stop and record. You know, I've always been in love with the music. So that's when it started. And then it grew on campus when I got to tertiary level. And then it just started growing from then. That's basically how it started.
Okay, it grew, you said it grew at tertiary level. What were you doing that time to move a step closer to achieving your dream?
I started participating on campus radio, and simultaneously I heard in my neighborhood where I come from, they were forming a new community radio station, which I tried to get into over and over for a while. A year later, they gave me a break, so they gave me a weekend show. Same thing on campus. I tried over and over to participate and be part of the campus radio station, which was called Channel T. So I participated in the rec team, and I was part of the SRC, the entertainment committee. And young as I was, and eventually I got a break to do the afternoon drive during the week on campus radio after my classes. And then on weekends, on Friday, I'll take a taxi or a train to the township. And then I had a Saturday and Sunday show at the community radio station back home in the township. And then Sunday evening, I'll take a taxi back so that Monday morning I'm back in class at school. Oh, and that's basically how it started. When I heard of a commercial youth radio station, which was starting around Joburg, Gauteng, which was called YFM, then I started getting excited that this might be my first big break. And I tried to get in there. Took me a while. I couldn't get in at first. The station started. It started booming, and the guys started growing. And over, I kept on taking my demos there. I kept on going there over and over. I mean, the guys started getting to know me, and I was terrible. I mean, I had demos. I don't know how many demos I'd sent to YFM, over 30 demos. Oh, wow. And over 70 times I was at YFM. And the reason why I remember was because every time you go and they give you a visitor sticker. And when we were so young that we loved YFM, we used to keep those stickers as souvenirs. And I used to have this big poster at my flat with my roommate with all the YFM DJs. So every time when I come back from YFM, I take that sticker and put it on my poster. So the day I got hired, eventually, when I got in through a talent search competition, when they did a talent search competition, and I was runner-up, and I eventually got the opportunity of getting into a graveyard slot, I had over 70 stickers on my poster. So which means I'd been there over 70 times.
Oh, wow. So you're telling me if it wasn't for the competition, there are high chances you could have still been pushing and trying until you made that big break?
Yes. I mean, I could have tried. I tried other stations. I mean, I remember doing demos for Metro FM, who I work for now. And at the time, they told me I didn't have the right voice for radio. I tried Shangan stations, Mukanalone and Palafara. I tried Kaya FM. I tried Ukozi FM. I tried all sorts of different demos in different languages because I was really hungry to get into the entertainment business. And the music side of it was, I've always loved music, so I loved DJing. So I'd always used to carry, at the time, we used to play on vinyls. So I used to carry the DJ bag, or we used to use a crate at the time. The DJs would put in their vinyls there, either in an alphabetical order, or either R&B, house, kwaito, hip hop. You know, back in those days. So I used to carry their music around and follow them around and see how they do their thing, and then eventually, I mean, I bumped into somebody who was working for one of the biggest independent record labels at the time, who took a liking to me. And he used to come sample his artist music at our radio station. He just took a liking to me, and then we became friends. And then the idea of us having to start our own record company came. And I mean, at the time I was 21. Wow. And basically that's how my journey into starting my own independent record label started.
That was TS Records, is
yes.
that correct? So when they said you had no voice for radio, What happened? How did you take that in?
It's crazy. I mean, I think I was disappointed at the time. Because, you're young and you're hungry, you love this thing, you want to get into it, and then tell you don't have a voice for radio. I think unlike other people, instead of getting disappointed and, giving up, I just wanted to prove a point that actually, no, I don't think so. I don't think that I don't have a voice for radio. But I was very much aware that my voice is different from, your normal voices that are out there. Because I used to get teased at school from when I was young. So I always get teased about my voice, or when I meet strangers, they always comment about my voice. And not all of them are negative about it. At first, I used to get disappointed when people tease me with my voice. But my mom was like, geez, your voice is actually very different.
Yeah.
Your voice is extremely unique. So if anybody tells you your voice is ugly, just ignore them and just know that me as your mom, I'm telling you, you've got a very unique voice. And I think that just stuck with me, because I've always believed, actually, these guys are either jealous or they just don't understand. I've got a very unique voice. So that stuck with me as a child. So when I grew up, when I get such comments from Metro, like, you don't have a voice for radio, I couldn't believe them. I didn't believe them, because for many years, my mom told me my voice is unique. And to testify, I mean, girls, when you meet certain girls, the girls are like, wow, actually, you've got a very nice voice.
I like that voice.
It gives you a bit of a confidence,
Yes,
Although
exactly.
guys will tease you, they're like, what type of voice is this, But yeah, I mean, it didn't disappoint me at all. Well, yes, I was disappointed, but it didn't hurt me that much. But because I did believe my time is coming, and I just kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, and just hungry for that first big break.
Yeah. And of course, your mother has always supported you to get into radio?
No, not really. I think parents are very, especially in our generation, are very negative towards their kids getting into the entertainment business. With me, it was worse, because my uncle was a very world-famous African musician, Mahlatini, who led the band Mahlatini Mahotela Queens into world superstardom, and who died a pauper. He didn't have a lot of money. And remember those days, it was apartheid days. There was a lot of oppression happening in the country, and a lot of our musicians, talented as they were, they're not educated enough as far as owning their own IP, or having good legal representation when it comes to their own intellectual property, or starting their own record companies, or owning their own music, or their own publishing, or understanding the business of the music, because ultimately it's not music, it's the music industry, or it's the music business. So it's very essential and important for people to understand the business side of it, which my parents were very against me getting into the business. But the one thing that I had to promise them was that I'm going to get into this thing and I'm going to succeed in it. And they were like, okay, cool, just delay you getting into it until you at least first finish your studies, and then we can bless you to do whatever. And I guess that's how they blessed me to pursue it after my graduation with my electrical engineering diploma, my first undergrad.
Yeah, because you've got two of them.
I've got an undergrad, electrical engineering, and over the years I've been studying part-time. Got a BTech honors. I'm currently studying towards my master's with Henley Business School.
Oh, wow. So you still manage to handle it. You're busy in the entertainment industry, and now it's school?
Yeah, I think it's very essential. I mean, I'm 35 years old right now. I'm a father of a 1-year-old beautiful baby girl.
Oh.
And my baby has just changed my life. And I mean, I understand, as much as I'm blessed right now, it could all go away. We've seen it. You can have $1 billion, but it could all go away like that. And if you don't have the enough amount of education, you're obviously not going to be able to get it all back, or even, multiply it. And I understand that right now we're no longer operating as South Africans or as Africans. We're in a global platform. I mean, the whole world is on your cell phone. And for me, I understand, for me to get to where I want to be, for me to conquer the world, and for me to be a global player as an entrepreneur or as a business person, I need to understand the traits of business through school. And that's the reason why I want to acquire that education. And I always say, the reason I'm doing my MBA, I'm one of those guys who's very good with the streets. I understand the street, I understand the African market, I understand the youth market, I understand my people. I've been out there in the streets over the past 13 years. I understand people in trains, people in buildings, I understand people in offices. I just understand how an ordinary black person thinks, and I understand how an educated, what you would call an LSM 10 black person thinks, or how their cultural behaviors, their behavioral patterns when it comes to all sorts of different things. But what I want to understand right now with me educating myself is, I basically want to structure my mess. And I want to understand corporate jargon. I want to understand the different frameworks. I want to understand I want to understand how it is like to be in a room with bright minds, intelligent people who've got all this wealth of experience from all over the world, who are part of your class, but whom some of them are part of your study group, and you get to interact with them all the time. And once you come out of there, sometimes it's not even about the qualification itself, but it's about spending as much time as possible with these bright minds in one room for the next 2 years. And imagine what type of person I'll become in the next 2 years.
That's really true. Do you think that type of mindset that you have, is that what maybe kept you relevant in the market for a very long time?
To stay relevant for a while in the entertainment industry, it's not an easy thing to do, right?
Yes, yes.
But for me, I've always been very good in multitasking. I think, I wouldn't say I'm very good at multitasking. I think I'd say I'm a hard worker. So I don't have a lot of friends. So I don't have times where I'm like, no, I'm having drinks with the boys. No, this weekend we're doing this. I'm always working, I'm always working. And as a result, I've had to lose a lot of friends over the past couple of years because people just don't think you've got time for them. And it's not in a negative way. You're always working. So if my music career is on hold, I'm on television. I've got a hot show on TV, which is, one of the biggest shows. If my show maybe is on hold and the season is over, I've got a radio career. I'm probably doing a breakfast show or a drive time show. And I'm relevant to the market for a while because it's probably the biggest show, the second biggest show in the country at the time. If that maybe is on hold or I'm not on any radio station, I've got my music. Or I'm running a record company whom one of my artists is probably one of the biggest artists in the country at the time. So you're always somehow relevant because you're on TV, you're on radio, I'm owning a few businesses, whether in the lifestyle space, a restaurant or a clothing store, a boutique. So you're always out there, you're interacting with the people all the time. You know what the trends are, what's going on out there. And one other thing, which is my most favorite and is my passion, is my foundation, the Swiss Solo Education Foundation, which we've been running for the past 8 years. We visit schools every week. So I give talks in high schools. For the past 8 years, some of those kids are now doing first year, second, third year. Some of them are now graduates. Some of them are now working. So if you're exposed to at least 3,000 to 5,000 students every week, you're visiting 2-3 schools a week without fail, every week, every month for 8 years, with the exception of when there's school holidays, then you're bound to know what is going on the ground because you get to hear the new slang, you get to see how kids behave, and those kids get to grow. Because I also visit universities, I'm at varsities almost every week as well. But I'm also on radio, I'm also on social media. Yeah. So you're bound to sort of know what is hot out there and how to keep or stay relevant or try and be ahead of your game,
Yeah. So in your journey in becoming the big brand that you are now, what would you say these are the biggest challenges that you have faced to get to this SBU?
I think I appreciate you saying I'm a big brand now. It's really humbling because you hear people all the time saying, I'm a brand. It's good, but are you really a brand?
Yes.
And do you think you're building yourself as a brand? Are you just doing things just haphazardly just because you're on a tabloid newspaper, now you're a brand? And those are some of the things that you get to learn, how Coca-Cola built their brand, how MTN built their brand, how Apple built their brand, that when they're releasing a new product, you got people lining up from the night before, their values, their objectives, their vision, their aims, and how they carry out their brand and their social responsibility initiatives and so forth. Like, are you really a brand, Anyways, that's another story. But I just think I'm blessed. Sorry, I speak too much sometimes, but just forget your question because I just stuck to the brand
We
thing.
want to know what are the challenges?
Oh, the challenges, yes. Actually, that's an interesting one. There's always challenges.
Yeah.
There's a lot of challenges. I think it's not about it's not about the actual challenge. It's how you overcome them. So I think I'm really blessed to have a very good team that I work with. And I've got mentors, there's people that I look up to, that I consult all the time when I've got challenges, I've got negativity that's going on, and how to deal with it, how to solve it. And those are some of the things that one is learning in class right now as a leader in business. How do you solve certain problems? How do you solve problems in society? And I always say this, like, entrepreneurs are people that look at the glass half full rather than the glass half empty. Entrepreneurs are people that, instead of complaining about their government, it's people that come up with solutions that help their government help its people. Entrepreneurs are always people that see opportunities, no matter how bad it can be.
Yes.
And that's what I've learned, and I learned these from my mentors and practical examples that I have. And so I've been able to be trained to deal with challenges in that way. But I've had a lot of big challenges, you know, apart from your negative publicity in the press, because obviously I'm prominent and I'm out there, and you're bound to have your dirty laundry out there, which is fine. But just challenges in my business, like losing money, making the wrong moves, wrong investments, even in my own personal life, and having to come up and just make money again, or having to solve problems amongst your teams that you work with in the office, or having to solve big problems that are out there in the country. And as a small company, as a foundation, what role are we playing to help sort out those issues or those problems? So yeah, I always overcome challenges with the help of other people, of course.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
And viewers, thank you for watching.